what are you watching in terms of the political landscape and its impact on Bitcoin? You had former President Donald Trump speaking about crypto earlier this week. What are you paying attention and what are you expecting to see in terms of the impact from the political landscape on the crypto market?
Yeah, I think this has been, really kind of an interesting talking point, and will get louder as probably we approach the election. But clearly, particularly on the Republican side, but also we saw Robert F. Kennedy as well endorsing Bitcoin and coming out and talking about pro-Bitcoin type policies if there was going to be a Republican administration. And so the Republican administration seems to be courting the crypto industry, or the crypto industries courting them, whichever way you want to look at it, very actively, and talking about particularly what made the headlines from the crypto conference in Nashville was Donald Trump talking about the U.S. potentially having a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the way that the country has, strategic national reserves and commodities, key commodities such as oil and key commodities such as gold. So that would be clearly an interesting sort of perspective. But again, this idea that it's getting an endorsement from the highest level and therefore gets a huge amount of interest from the crypto community, clearly.
Here we have the current market analysis for Bitcoin relative to the US dollar, cryptocurrency ticker BTC. Before we begin with this chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, what we have here is the weekly chart. The reason that I want to pull out to this long-term time frame like this is mostly due to the fact that I don't cover cryptocurrencies very often. They tend to be very volatile. They tend to move quite quickly. And I tend to believe that stocks tend to be a better, safer investment with more predictability. Let's say that. So for the most part, I tend to stay away from cryptocurrencies. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm negative about cryptocurrencies. I just think that there are typically better investments in stocks. So what we're looking at here in this price history here is the weekly chart, and we can see that each trading candle here represents a full week trading period. So what we have here is a bit of a declining price movement here from these prior highs, which came in at 73,835. This would have been the prior price high that posted toward the middle of March 2024, and we can see from there share prices have started to move lower. Now there are a couple of different ways of interpreting this price chart. One way to interpret that to interpret this price chart, the most bullish scenario here would be to consider this price movement to be a bull flag pattern. So this is a very strong price pattern if this does turn out to be valid here. So essentially what you would have at this point would be a strong upward price movement in one direction, sort of almost a straight line, very strong trend wave here in the positive direction, and then a bit of a sideways downward consolidation. So as you can see here, this sort of looks like a flag, and this sort of looks like a flag pole. So you can sort of see how this would be called a flag pattern. And then since it's in the upward direction, it would be considered a bull flag. If the situation was reversed and the flag was facing in the other direction, it would be considered a bear flag. So currently, this is the most bullish scenario that you could look at here. And if this does turn out to be true, if we do see an upside break of this 70,000 level once again, that would confirm the break to the top side, and then the projected price move to the top side would be quite substantial. Essentially, we would have to look at the chart like this at this point, because essentially, when you have a bull flag pattern that does break out to the top side, the ultimate trend wave that develops is equal to the distance of the flag pole. So essentially what that would mean is that share prices would start to look like this. And this would ultimately send prices above the $100,000 mark, which is sort of the magical number that Tom Lee seems to project every single year. Every single year, he seems to think that Bitcoin is going to $100,000, and it never seems to happen. However, if this bull flag pattern does play out, we would need to see a break here to the top side. And it already is looking as though this might not become validated because we're sort of starting to break to the downside here. So we'll get to that in a moment. I guess I should just finish explaining what would be going on here. So if we did see a break of 70,000 to the top side here, the ultimate projection here would be quite substantial because it would be equal to the distance of the flag pole. which would be the distance from, in this case, roughly 25,000 to just under 74,000. So this is a very significant price movement. That's almost $50,000 in difference that would then be projected. So if we did see a break to the top side, a break of 70,000, it would be an incredibly bullish event because this would then ultimately be the expectation. We would expect to see share prices move like this. Sorry, share prices. It's a cryptocurrency. So this would be the most bullish scenario. However, there are some reasons to believe that this is not going to be happening, and I'll have to point those out because we do have to take an objective viewpoint of the price chart. We can't just look at one aspect of the price chart. So we sort of reset things here, and the reason that I say I'm skeptical to believe that this bull flag pattern is going to play out like that, you would need to break to the top side of the flag pattern itself, and that would mean a break above 70,000. But as things currently stand, what we're seeing here is that the flag is starting to break to the downside. As you can see here, we really haven't seen a close below this area just yet, but we have already seen spike lows into this area, and this recent price movement at 62,750 roughly is starting to suggest that share prices will move to the downside. In addition to that, what we have here is a breakthrough Fibonacci support zones, which is another bearish signal at the moment, because if we're looking at this trend wave here, this bullish trend wave, what we have currently is a breakthrough the 38.2% Fibonacci retracement of the ascending move from 24,900 to 73,835. That would come in right around, what do we have here? This would be $55,180, $55,180. And we're trading right near there at the moment. So as things currently stand, this is starting to make the chart break down. We've already broken below the 20-week exponential moving average, which is the yellow line near the top of the price chart, as well as the orange line, which is the 50-week exponential moving average. So we're starting to grind through some important levels of support, and that is what makes me skeptical that this bull flag pattern that I mentioned before, it makes me skeptical that this will actually be playing out. If we could somehow see a major reversal here and not really see any daily closes or weekly closes below the bottom end of this flag, and we did ultimately see a break above 70,000, that would be your bullish scenario. But the way things currently stand here, we're starting to grind through Fibonacci support zones, exponential moving average support zones, and this is a consolidation zone that's drifting to the downside, with cryptocurrency prices forming lower highs in the process. So previously we were looking at 73,835. Now we're looking at a recent near-term high of only 70,000. So we weren't really able to retest the prior highs, and that is another bearish event, a bearish signal on this price chart. So a final thing that we'll sort of look at here is the indicator reading in the relative strength index. That's the purple line at the bottom of the chart here. As we can see, prior trend movements in the positive direction, this would signal a positive bullish momentum for Bitcoin. Did start to break down. This would have been roughly the middle of July. So just as we were starting to fail to retest these prior highs at 73,835, this is when this trend momentum started to wane, and we started to see this area break here. So as things currently stand, this most recent trend wave higher in trend momentum has started to break, and that means that we have to go back to this longer term trend, which is still negative. It's not significantly negative. This isn't a hugely downside slope here, but it is a downward slope. So that can't be ignored, mostly due to the fact that this recent uptrend movement has now been broken. So, there are a few different bearish signals here going on at once. All of this negative outlook could be incorrect if we break back above the 70,000 mark. If we do see a break above there, I think you could be looking at a very substantial move higher. And then finally reach this magical $100,000 mark that Tom Lee has been talking about for like the last 5 years, and it has never come true. So here's the current market analysis for Bitcoin relative to the US dollar, cryptocurrency ticker BTC. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high-conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk-to-reward metrics that target massive, market-beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.